Hello and welcome to Authentic Thriving Podcast. I am your host, Sonia, and today on this episode, I am going to be talking about how to preserve your mental health as a parent. I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to this because there are loads of pressure on parenting. I remember when I had my first child, and there was no manual given to me in the hospital on how to look after this child. So I'm sure a lot of people, I'm sure there'll be books right now on how to parent as a new parent and all of that stuff. But in the hospital, once you had a baby, nobody's going to give you a book and say, oh, take this book. Everything that you ever need, every troubleshooting from this baby is in there. So if the baby is crying, go to page this. If the baby is smiling, go to page that. If the baby needs help, this is the sign they are going to make. If the baby needs that, nobody does that. They don't give you any manual from the hospital. The midwives or the doctors, they don't do that. So how do we parent and preserve our mental health? How do we do that? I'm just going to share from experience, from my personal experience, and from what I've observed from other people. For you to preserve your mental health as a parent, first, you need to realize that it is a process. Parenting is a process. It's a process that you must be willing to be flexible with. It's a process that is not rigid. It's a flexible process. There will be loads of trials and errors. Loads and loads of trials and errors. Because what got you here will not get you to the next stage. You have a baby, yes. After that, the child becomes a toddler. So when that child becomes a toddler, what worked as a baby will not work as a child, as a toddler. So you have to change your strategy. So this is why I said it is not a sprint. Parenting is not a sprint at all. We have to learn to observe and study our child. But you have to also realize that your children are so different. I've got 3 children. Believe me, just 3 children. What works for A does not work for B. What works for B does not work for C. You know why? They've got different temperaments. They've got different likes and dislikes. They've got different expression of affection. They are so different, and yet they are raised under the same roof. So as a parent, you can't say because this worked for child A, it will work for child B. So you need to realize that the sooner you realize that, the better for you. When you're flexible with the process as well, the way you will speak to one and they understand is not the way the other one will understand, because they are different. Their representational system in terms of learning is different. Some of them, you just have to look at them and they know that look and they stop. Some of them, you have to call them aside and speak to them. So to preserve your mental health, please do not use one size fits all as a parent. You have to learn to be flexible with your process. Then my second point is parent, be kind to yourself. Sometimes as a parent, we are too hard on ourselves. We're trying to put a roof over our head. We're trying to provide the basic needs and more for our children. Sometimes we put ourselves under unnecessary strain. We have to be kind to ourselves as parents. We have to be very, very kind to ourselves. Learn to be kind to yourself as a parent. Speak to your children. Learn to communicate with them. When you communicate with children, you realize that they become more understanding. So communicate effectively with your children and be kind to yourself. As a parent as well, you need to take time to spend with your children. I don't mean just be there and then you're doing other things, they are doing other things most of the time, but be there with them, be there with your children, get to know your children, be present with them. When they want to show you that thing that looks silly to you, you need to listen, you need to pay attention, because that is where the bonding takes place. The time where they're showing you something that you think is just a little thing, but is a big deal to them, that is where the bonding takes place. So, for example, yesterday, my daughter, she's only 4 years old, 25 this year. She went to the toilet, took the tissue holder. It was finished. She went to get a new one, and then she fixed it. She came to pull me from where I was sitting. Mommy, come, come, I need to show you something. Come, I need to show you something. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm coming. She was like, oh no, Mom, you need to come. You know what children are like. So I had to stand up and I followed her to the toilet. And I said, see, I did this all by myself. I was so proud of her. I was like, well done, girl. You're growing up too fast for me. Well done. You did that all by yourself. She said, yes. Now, you might be wondering, yeah, that is just what's the big deal about her? There is a big deal, because the first time she tried to fix that tissue on the toilet holder, that was some months back, she struggled and she started crying. I said, let me help you. She said, no, I'll do it myself. She struggled, but she couldn't do it. And then yesterday, she finally did it all by herself, and she was really, really proud. I was happy. Preserve your mental health by bonding with your children in those little moments. Share with them in their little times of finding fulfillment. Share it with them. It will also help you feel good as well. Because when she was happy, I just could not believe it. I started laughing. I was really happy for her. I gave her a big, warm hug, bear hug, a squishy hug. I was really proud of her that she acknowledged that if I don't give up, I'll be able to do this. And she did it. That was something good. I was glad that she came to share that with me. I was really excited. So don't just be in the background, but engage with them. Engage with your children. It might not always be convenient, but just engage with them. It's really, really good. It also helps to release those positive hormones in you, because they have this infectious way of just making us feel brighter and feel good. And then another point is, as a parent, you need to be involved with your children, not just outside, not just inside, but outside as well. So they are having a sport day in school. Please do well to be there. I missed that on that, my oldest daughter, because of work. I missed that so much. I'll tell my boss at work I need to go for my daughter's nativity play. Like, oh, the time, there's no one to cover up for you and all of that stuff. I had to make certain changes in my life to ensure that on their key moments, we are always there to share them on. That is another bonding time again. So as a parent, to boost your mental health as well, you need to be present on all those events they do in school, spend time with them, get to know their teachers. Those things help to boost our own emotional well-being, our mental health, because when you have peace of mind about the people, getting to know the people that are teaching your children, it makes you have peace of mind. And also, it projects you in good light to the people that are looking after your children as well. And your children as well, it boosts their confidence. They love things like that. Okay. Then another point is, you need to find time for you as a parent. You need to find time for you, not just mommy looking after the children. Daddy can also look after the children. It's funny when people say, my husband is babysitting. No, it's not babysitting. Your husband is looking after our children. Your children, yeah. He said, my husband is looking after my children. No, my husband is babysitting. Have you ever heard a man say, my wife is babysitting? So why then do you say, my husband is babysitting? You're making it look as if he's a big favor. He's fulfilling his parental duty. So that is not a favor. That is good for him as well. Find time to bond with the children. Yes, I said it. I know some men will not like this, but it is the truth. So we're parenting together. Find time. If you are a single parent, find someone that you trust, that you guys can swap. So when they are looking after your children, you can also take turn in looking after your children. So find time in just taking time off to just have that moment to yourself. Go for a meal with the girls, go for a meal with the guys, go to spa, take time away, a little vacation, mini staycation, things like that. Just time for you to refresh and also be able to think without other people getting into, about being disturbed or about your time being demanded every time. Not necessarily disturbed, because I wouldn't say my children are disturbing me, but people constantly demanding your time. Sometimes it can drain you. So you take time out, go and refresh. When you come back, your cup is full. You have enough to give around to other people as well, without you getting frustrated, without you getting tired, without you getting agitated easily. So find time for me time as well. And sometimes you don't necessarily need to go for a staycation or a vacation. You can get the children in bed on time so that you can also have some peace and quiet. So change the routine of the children to make sure. I'm so guilty of this. I need to ensure that their routine is a little bit earlier. But because of their activities, sometimes we kind of struggle with that time in the night where they are coming back from activities late and they're trying to get them into earlier routine. But at least create something that will ensure that the children get in bed on time, and then you have a little bit of mean time together as a couple, or you just have a personal time as well, where you're able to then, distress a little bit, just declutter those things that you have been through during the day. Then another thing you can do again is find something that can engage you in a such a way that you get into a state of flow. Is it music where you just listen to that music? You are lost in your, feeling of good feelings, where you go get into a state of flow, you lose touch of time. Any activities that will make you get into that state, you lose focus of what time it is, and you just get into it, have a good time, have a good laugh. That is a state of flow, and it's so good. That help with our mental health. As a parent, find a purpose other than yourself, where you can give your time, where you can give maybe your resources, or maybe you can just contribute somehow to something other than yourself. It also help our mental state of health. When you engage with other people, when you are doing something meaningful, when you are doing things that are helping you to distress, when you are doing things that are helping you to form meaningful relationship, it is so good. When you can learn new things, where you can achieve something, it is good for your mental health as a parent. When you achieve those things, I've seen people say, I've got children, I'm married, I've got business, I'm doing this, and I achieve X, Y, and Z. It's a great sense of fulfillment. And it's so good for our mental health as a parent. For your mental health as well, learn to spend within your means. If you want to try and catch up with the Joneses, you want to try and, copy other people, you might get yourself into a financial situation. Because when you're financially strained as a family, your mental health goes out of the window. Your mental wellness just goes out of the window. So learn how to spend wisely as a parent. Spend within your budget. Live within your means. Do not start living life that you know you cannot afford. That alone can cause a lot of mental health issues. As a parent as well, mind the people that you surround yourself with. There are so many things that can lead into dramas that you don't want to bring into the life of your children, that you don't want to bring into your family. So mind the people that you surround yourself with, mind the people that speak into your life, mind the people that you let into your space, that you allow into your house, and you allow yourself to also go into their house as well, their houses as well. So mind the people that you surround yourself with. It is very, very important. So I am going to stop here now. If any of the points that I've discuss in this segment, has resonated with you and you want to implement it, that will be really, really great. And if it has resonated with you, please kindly like and share this podcast. If you want to see the visual one, is on YouTube. I always record my podcast as well for you to see on YouTube. If you want to follow me on social media, I always like to connect with people with like-minded, to share tips and share experiences. So my name is Sonia on Facebook, Instagram, and on LinkedIn, Sonia on Clubhouse. And also, if you want me to, discuss a particular topic that had to do with your emotional well-being, emotional intelligence, mental health, those topics that you think, Sonia, talk about this topic. I'm really struggling in this area. I am open to that as well. Thank you so much for your time, for listening to this podcast and this video. Have a great time and God bless.